remember this incredible, simple, powerful truth. Technology is only as secure as the person using it. Today's topic of discussion perfectly captures this reality. The human layer of cybersecurity, why people remain the biggest black surface. We often focus on protecting our devices, but tonight we are focusing on protecting ourselves. Hackers know that it is far easier to trick a human being than it is to break a computer code. I'm Yashwant Vemana Reddy, and it's my privilege to anchor today's session. This lecture is a part of our Cyber Sunday series, an initiative designed to promote awareness, learning, and informed engagement in the field of cyber safety, law, and technology. Through Cyber Sundays, we bring together experts and practitioners to share a real-world insights into cyber threats, governance, and investigation strategies. This marks our 17th Cyber Sunday, and by the end of it, we are shaping ourselves into a group that speaks with clarity, confidence, and purpose, ready to spread awareness and safeguard our communities online. If you are ready to start this journey, type ready or show your enthusiasm through a thumbs up emoji in the chat. Participants, please drop your questions in the chat. If you wish to speak, kindly raise your hand and we will call you one by one. We'll take as many questions as time allows. It's a great privilege and honor to welcome our esteemed guest speaker for the 17th Cyber Sunday, Ms. Suhavi Arya ma'am. Ms. Suhavi Arya ma'am is a distinguished legal and policy professional with extensive experience spanning media law, technology regulation, digital rights, and platform governance. She has deeply advised on compliance, content regulation, digital risk, and commercial transactions within the media and entertainment sector, including impactful work with leading broadcasting and digital platforms. Her remarkable global footprint includes handling international investigations at the International Criminal Court, conducting vital digital governance research at the Center for Communication and Governance, and providing policy-oriented legal advisory across fast-evolving technology and content ecosystems. Ms. Arya ma'am holds an LLM in Transnational Crime and Justice from UNICRI and the University for Peace. She's particularly passionate about cyber awareness, online safety, and critical intersection of technology, law, and human behavior. Her exceptional journey reflects a deep commitment to digital rights, innovation, and community safety. And we are truly honored to have her among us today to unravel the complexities of human element in digital security. Please join me in extending a warm and respectful welcome to Ms. Suhavi Arya ma'am. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the mic to you, ma'am.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if it's visible. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, great. So, okay. So, good evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm assuming this is part of a course, which is why so many people have joined on a Sunday evening. I'll not start with a statistic or a law. I'll start with a story. This is a story of a 26-year-old. This happened in 2020. A woman in Hyderabad received a phone call, and the caller said he was from her bank. He knew her name. He obviously knew her phone number, so he called her. He knew that she had an account in that particular bank. And he said he has seen that there is suspicious activity happening in her bank account. He obviously got her worried. He was very calm, reassuring, and professional. So she believed him, and he asked to share to share an OTP which she has just received on her phone. She shared that OTP, and within few minutes, she realized that more than 2 lakhs has been taken from her account, has been debited from her account. Now, here is the question that I want you to sit with, which is, was this a technology failure? The bank servers were secure. The encryption was in place. There was two-factor authentication. And yet there was money stolen. And this is not because a hacker broke into a firewall. It's because a human being, a perfectly intelligent, smart, educated human being, believed somebody and was deceived. The thing is, the most sophisticated of firewalls in the world cannot protect you if you willingly open the door. And this is what we call the human layer of cybersecurity. And it is simultaneously the most important one and the most neglected one. Today, let's talk about humans, human vulnerability. We will look at Indian cases and we will discuss them, and we will see what has happened in our cities, our friends. It has happened to our neighbors. It may have even happened to some of us. By the end of this address, I want to leave all of you informed and not scared. And I want all of you to be prepared. So what is the human layer? When we talk about cybersecurity, we think about technology, we think about firewalls, we think about software, antivirus, encryption, and various detection systems. These are all technical layers and they are all essential. But between every piece of technology and every threat, there is a human being. Someone who clicks on a link, someone who keeps their password saved on their WhatsApp chats, someone who opens an email, a fishy email, someone who opens an attachment on WhatsApp. And then, something bad happens to people who are not very careful with all of these things. This human layer refers to all the ways in which people and their behaviors, their decisions, their emotions, and their habits can either create weakness in the security system or conversely create strength. And there is data that completely supports it. IBM's cost of data breach report says that over 95% of all cybersecurity incidents involve human error at some point. The World Economic Forum puts it at even more starkly. It says 95% of cyber attacks are caused, enabled, or worsened by human action or inaction. CERT says that in over 13 plus lakhs cybersecurity incidents that were reported, they were from 2022 alone. The National Cybercrime Reporting Portal has received more than 15 lakh complaints from 2019 to 2023. And the vast majority of this happens because of people, like human beings and their behaviors. This is not a question of intelligence. Because the story that I spoke to you about in the very beginning, it was about a woman who was an IT professional. This has happened to people who are IS professionals, doctors, engineers, professors. So this is not about intelligence. This is about psychology. Now we've realized that professionals have learned how to hack people and how humans behave. There are 6 psychological triggers that attackers exploit. One of them is authority. I don't know if you guys have, I'm assuming some of you have as well. You've gotten a call saying, this is CBI speaking, your Aadhaar has been linked with suspicious activity. This happened to my uncle. He got a call from a police officer who said his Aadhaar has been linked with suspicious activity. There's some and there is some parcel that is coming his way from Cambodia. and he was under digital arrest. This is a story I think a lot of you may have heard. Has something like this happened with any of you guys as well? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A similar situation arose at my home place. So while I was sitting with my father and having a cup of tea with him, suddenly a call
Sorry, I lost you. Is it my Wi-Fi? I couldn't hear you properly.
at his WhatsApp number saying that your son.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes.
So, ma'am, basically what took place, first of all, let me introduce myself. Myself, Ashutosh Kumar Singh, and I'm a student at Law Faculty, University of Delhi. And a similar incident took place at my home while I was having a cup of tea in the evening with my father, sitting and gossiping out stuff at home. Suddenly, he received a call on his WhatsApp number, and the caller claimed to be a investigating officer from special cell, and he told my father that your son has been arrested and was found with some narcotic or some other sort of substance. If you want to save him, just deliver a lump sum amount in my in this number, and you won't believe, ma'am, the link that they shared, the captcha with it, was holding Government of India's logo in it.
Yeah.
Anybody would have trusted it. So the fact is, I was sitting just beside my father. My father started laughing at the very same time. He told me, he just asked that person, what are the section that is being imposed on my son? What has he done? So after that, when that attacker came to know that he is making bluff of him, he just disconnected the call of the all of the sudden. He just said one thing. My son is sitting beside me. How could you even say that he's with you? So he was knowing all of my details, and I don't know how it's that possible. He was knowing all of the details, where I study or what educational curriculum I have followed, everything. I don't know how, even though I haven't shared. So, in my opinion, ma'am, I feel like somebody from the institution itself, like for example, when the records are being thrown out from the office when they get old, I think people are getting a grasp over it, taking out info and data out of it, and then manipulating and creating scenarios which feels realistic. That is what I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened with you is known as spear phishing. We'll be talking about it later, and I'll share an example of what happened with me as well, because something similar happened with me. So what these hackers or cybersecurity professionals, what they do is they use these six psychological triggers to exploit human behavior. One of them is authority. So of course, like you said, somebody from the police called your dad. They created an urgency saying that, oh my God, he's getting arrested. You have to save him. So of course, your parents will get worried, and they will take immediate, they will try to take immediate, they will try to take immediate action to protect you. They try, sometimes they try to create scarcity, saying only 2 spots left, update your, do this and you will get something free. You know, some kind of a link that you might get, and they tell you to click on this link for further information. Sometimes you get a message saying with social proof saying your colleague has updated their KYC details, why don't you? And then you end up clicking on that link. Then they also, sometimes you get called for a free service or like a free Amazon gift card. Like this happened to my mother while I was at home. She was called for a free Amazon gift card, and she was going to get a Marshall speaker worth 20K for free if she bought something for 5,000. And my mother believed it. So these kind of things, this is what they were doing. And then there's, of course, they use your name, they use your like bank name, they use your personal details to make you believe that what's happening is true. So what this is social engineering. Social engineering is the use of psychological manipulation to trick people into revealing confidential information or performing acts that compromise security. So for this, no technical hacking is required, just human trust is exploited. Now we'll go on to the types, the attacking types. So phishing is a fraudulent attempt where you usually, like a fake website or a fake email, you click on it and then, you get tricked into releasing like some sort of information. What happened with you, I'm sorry, the example that you just gave us, what happened with you was spear phishing, which is they used targeted and personalized form of phishing. This happened with me as well. Like a couple of years ago, I was in a meeting and I kept getting urgent calls back to back. And this man called me up and he said, "Hello, Suhavi beta, मैं ना डॉक्टर साहब बोल रहा हूँ. आपका ना आपके पापा ने बोला कि आपके अकाउंट में 20,000 डालने हैं बेटा. आप प्लीज एक्सेप्ट कर लो. आप पापा ने बोला." And I was just thinking, what is this? And then he's like, आपका ऑफिस अच्छा चल रहा है ना बॉम्बे में, आप अच्छे हो, आपका सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है ना. And he knew my name, he knew my dad's name, he knew that I'm working in Bombay, he knew I'm not in the same city as my father. He used this information against me and he made me believe that he's supposed to give me money. And by mistake, he sent me extra amount and I should return the amount to him. So I got a message from a random number, not my bank account, saying 50,000 has been credited into your account. And I didn't see the message properly because I was talking to him while seeing the message. So I just saw a notification. I didn't see which number it came from. Later on, I realized it came from a personal number and not a bank number. So that's how I realized that this guy was targeting me and he wanted to actually take money from me and not actually give me money. So I fortunately, I cut the call, called my dad, figured it out. But this is something they were personally targeting me, thinking as a woman, I may be vulnerable because I live far away from home. There's also phishing, which is they call you directly, posing as bank officials or police, which again happened with some of you, and they try to extract sensitive information from you. There is smishing, which is via SMS. There is QR code fraud, where they make you scan a QR code, which takes away money from your account. And then there is deepfake and AI voice fraud, which I believe a lot of you have already seen online. That's happening with like celebrities and other people. One example of this deepfake AI fraud was a man in Gujarat. This happened, I think, in 2023. His brother called him and told him, "I've had an accident. Please send money. I need to get admitted to a hospital. Please send 35,000. This man got really worried and he sent 35,000. And later on, he realized that it was somebody who trained an AI model to, through his brother's YouTube account, use his brother's voice to train an AI model, who then called up the brother and then faked that accident so that the man could send 35,000 to him. This is a reported incident. It came on the newspaper as well. So these kind of things are happening. And like with AI, with artificial intelligence, it is deeply weaponizing and going against human trust. And the stakes have grown exponentially. There's also a 2024 case called the Arup deepfake fraud, which happened when a finance employee, was invited to a video call with his CFO and other employees. It was later realized that all were AI-generated deepfakes, and this man was asked to transfer 213 crores. And this happened because the man had, the authority within his organization to transfer that kind of an amount. His trust was violated, and it was done in a very, very, it was not because they could break a firewall or, hack into the system. They just figured out how to exploit human trust. It has been reported that AI-generated phishing emails now outperform conventional ones by 42%. And when combined with human social engineering, the rates are 56%. I'm assuming you guys have heard about the Jamtara model as well. This happened, we got to know about it around 2018. There's a Netflix show on it as well. So India has over 900 million internet users. It is one of the world's largest digital payment ecosystems. Massive smartphone penetration, rapid UPI adoption, and digital governance systems that are envy of much of the world. So this transformation is extraordinary, but it also creates an enormous human layer attack surface. So now we'll talk about the Jamtara model. It's a small, economically disadvantaged area in district in Jharkhand. It became, like I said, it became subject of a Netflix series. After multiple investigative journalism pieces, and eventually it's now, because of this, and a sustained law also came into place. What happened here was not because of, like, they could hack into somebody's computers. It was just like a systemized way to exploit human trust. Young men who were school dropouts were trained in scripts that invoked authority, urgency, and fear. They would call hundreds of potential victims a day, posing as bank officials. They needed no technical skills whatsoever. They needed social skills, the ability to build rapid trust. And over a phone call, they maintained it for long enough to get an OTP out of them. And this operation was shockingly low tech. All they used was mobile phones and SIM cards using fake IDs. But the return was enormous. They was on a successful day, some of them yielded more than 5 lakhs per day. The operators then divided the proceeds with other officials in the area because they wanted to continue getting new SIMs. So even political leaders and policemen were part of this whole scam. There was a coordinated effort between police and CERT, and over 700 people were arrested from 2017 to 2022. And yet the operations continued. Now, these similar clusters have been found in Haryana, in Bharatpur, in Rajasthan, and even in West Bengal. And what they did was they used human vulnerability, and our response to authority and urgency. And this does not obviously require a geographic concentration. Anybody can be exploited like this. Jamtara model taught us that you don't need a supercomputer to steal from millions of people. You need a script, a phone, and an understanding of human psychology. This kind of crime model has also gone international. In Thane, in India, you'll see that people are posing as bank officials and calling NRIs. This has happened in Ahmedabad, in Mira Road, where thousands of fraudulent calls are being made to US and Canada. And this has revealed a professional scaled operation that is happening. Now I want to talk about India's legal framework. These are some of the important sections from the IT Act 2000. One is Section 43. It talks of unauthorized access to computer systems. And this is a civil offense and liability. And there is no imprisonment here. Then there is Section 66, which is a computer-related offense. This is by cheating of in dishonestly receiving stolen computer resources, identity theft. This is up to 3 years. This is a criminal offense, and you get up to 3 years of imprisonment if caught. There is Section 66C. This is using other people's electronic data. So if your Aadhaar is stolen and somebody is using it to create bank accounts or taking a loan or something, this is one of the sections which may help you. There is Section 66D, which is for you impersonating someone using computer resources. So phishing, which we just discussed, was through this. And then there is also Section 72, which is breach of confidentiality and privacy. Section 79 is also an important safe harbor provision where intermediaries, social media platforms and all, if they have not modified the content and only let the transmission happen, then they can use this provision to say that they were not complicit in part of this, like a fraudulent transaction. So this is this provision they use to say we didn't enable a scam to happen. And this is commonly used by WhatsApp and Telegram and all, even that's how they argue against end-to-end encryption as well. So CERT, Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, issued some directions in 2022. This primarily happened because of the Jamtara incident. They said that all intermediaries, data centers, and government organizations must inform of a cybersecurity incident within 6 hours. This is one of the highest reported time, like fastest reported timeline in the world. And all VPN providers must maintain the data logs for minimum of 5 years. So from a human layer perspective, this creates accountability. And so basically one must report what is detected, which is obviously very important. It also helps us. The RBI cybersecurity framework for banks and the digital payment security controls also mandated multi-factor authentication, transaction alerts, fraud monitoring, and customer education. So what it says is, if a fraud occurs due to bank's negligence, the customer bears zero responsibility. But if a fraud happens due to third-party breach, and the customer notifies the bank within 3 days, the liability is zero. But if something happens due to you sharing an OTP, then the banks and the government, they cannot help you. This happened with me few months ago, where I woke up in the morning at 7 a.m. and I saw that somebody has used my credit card and spent 50K at 2 a.m. And I got immediately worried, thinking, did I shop while sleeping? But of course I didn't. Then I checked with my partner, I checked with my parents, and nobody had used my card. I checked like little bit later when I woke up properly, and I checked again. I saw it have one, the message came at 2 a.m., around 2 a.m. And secondly, it was at an armory. And I Googled that place. It was somewhere in the US. So what had happened was through some website where I may have bought something from, my credit card details were leaked, and somebody used my card details to buy a gun in the US. This obviously freaked me out because gun-based violence happens in the US like a lot, and they may be able to track it to my card. I immediately went to the police and reported the incident. I went to my bank and I told them that this is not what I did. You can see that I'm in India also, and I cannot be buying a gun online. How does it even help me? Of course, they realized that this is not me and I didn't have to pay 50,000, but somebody did buy a gun from my money in the US. And it happened 6 months ago. Did something else happen with somebody else as well? Did you guys know that if you report to the bank within 3 days, you're not held liable, but only if you share OTP, then you have to bear the entire loss? Okay. So basically what I realized from this is that the law makes each customer responsible for their own human layer of security. If you're tricked into sharing your OTP, regardless of how sophisticated the trick is, you may bear the financial loss. Awareness is not optional. It is a financial necessity at this point. We'll now talk about the DPDP Act. It is one of the most recent developments in for data protection in our country. And the rules were notified just a few months ago. The rules and the act is semi-operational right now. It will be fully operational by 2020, like May 2027. But we should still be aware of it because it is going to impact all our lives. So the key actors under the act are a data principal. That is you and me, and our personal data. There is a data fiduciary, which is an entity, which could be a company or a government body, or even an individual to whom we give our data. A significant data fiduciary is a person or an entity or a government who, because of the sensitivity of data that they have, or because of the amount of data they have additional obligations to follow as per the law. There is a consent manager. It will be an independent person registered with the Data Protection Board. If you feel that your data has been compromised, you go to the data protection board and they are supposed to give you a resolution within strict timelines. As a data fiduciary, which is a company, an individual, or a legal or a government entity who's storing the data, these are your 7 core obligations. It has to be for a lawful thing. It can't be for an illegal thing. It has to have explicit consent of the individual. The next is you have to send your, before collecting the personal data, you have to share your privacy. No, you have to share your privacy notice. It must be clear and in plain language. It cannot be like a 47-page privacy notice where your actual reason for collecting the data is hidden. The third thing is the purpose of the why you're using this data. That should be clear. It should be only for the limited purpose and for nothing else. And only to the extent necessary. And it has to be deleted once the data when its usage has been utilized. Then there is data security safeguards. So every data fiduciary must implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to prevent personal data breaches. So appropriate measures include employee training, access controls, incident response procedures, and data handling protocols. If a breach is caused by an untrained employee or a consultant, it's a data fiduciary's problem. Your employees have to be compliant. The 5th is breach notification. As soon as a data fiduciary gets to know about it, they must inform the board and the affected person within the time they have mentioned. This is a zero threshold obligation. That means this is something you have to do. You cannot notify what you have not discovered, which basically means that it has to be via human detection. And then there are enhanced obligations, like I said, for significant data fiduciaries. There are extra protection measures for children's data. So if a person who's under 18, their data is being taken, a parental or a guardian's consent is necessary. And you cannot use it to track profile or children. And penalty also for all of these things are up to 200 to 50 crores. So it is being taken very, very seriously right now. And every citizen, every data principal who is sharing this data, these are the rights that we have. One is right to access the information that we have shared. Like ask the fiduciary, what is the information that you have? And why are you using it for what purpose? We have the right to correct it and the right to delete it. Like ask them to delete it. We also have the right to grievance redressal, which is approach the data protection board. We have the right to nominate, which we can ask that our data we can nominate our data to somebody else in case of incapacity or death. And we have the right to withdraw consent as well, that anytime we can say that we don't want to give our data anymore. So you have to stop using it. So every obligation under this act finally depends on human beings to implement, maintain, and honor it. A notice like this is only meaningful if it's in plain language and if another human can understand it. And consent is also only valid if it's explicitly given and it's not implied. So in this, now that DPDP has been implemented and going forward when it'll be implemented even more, cybersecurity awareness of employees is going to be not just good practice, but also something that is important in law to follow. So, I mean, I have talked about this a lot, and I think the solution to this problem is the way to counter it is just one way, is to empower human beings. We create a society where everybody, like we know what is our right, and we know that like these things, like a lot of scams can happen, and we should be aware. If we are being forced to be in a place where, we are being scared and we think we don't have an option but to give the money, we need to pause and take a step back. if something unnatural is to happen, we always react, right? Instead of reacting, we need to take a step back and pause and see, is it true? Like what I did with the man who called me up and he said, "Beta, गलती से मैंने आपको 20,000 दे दिए, आप मेरे को वापस करो ऐसे." I cut the call and I checked message kahan se aaya. I called up my father to check, did this actually happen? Who is this doctor Sahab who's giving me money, and why did you tell him to give me money? Like things like that. And I realized that none of it is true and I was getting scammed. So these are the important things. And at an individual level, we should all be careful of sharing OTPs, passwords, Aadhaar numbers over phone. And we should know that no legitimate organization will call you and ask you for these details. We should always verify, like I said. We should always slow down the urgency, take a pause, take a step back and see. And also we should use, I mean, it's one of the most simplest things, but use like strong passwords. We should enable two-factor authentication. And we should regularly, if something were to happen, you should immediately call the National Cybercrime Helpline, which is 1930. There's also a website where you can register complaints. I actually have a lot of, I have a lot of more other data, but I would like to see if anybody has any questions at this point. I mean, I understand it's Sunday evening as well. So I just want to leave you with this, that awareness is the most important thing at this space. And we need to be extremely careful with what we do. And we need to keep educating ourselves because technology is growing at a very fast pace. Law has not been able to catch up with it. And as educated and concerned citizens and individuals, we should always be careful and encourage others to be careful as well. This is it from me. I can't hear you, Yashwant.
Yeah, ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for such an enlightening session. This discussion has set a strong foundation for all of us as learners and practitioners. We are now opening the floor for questions from the participants. So participants, please drop your questions in the chat. If you wish, raise your hand and we will call you one by one and we'll take as many as questions as time allows.
So I see some questions.
Ma'am, it's a question from Hirani that please guide with a scenario where phishing website on Google Firebase was reported to Google and back to all possible forms and emails. But Google is ready to respond to any action on the phishing website. Please get what will be done when an organization like Google is not responding to phishing complaints.
So if you have proof of phishing, that has happened through this website, I suggest you take it to the police. You take it to the cybersecurity cell and you file a complaint there and you let them take it forward. The second thing, the second question by Anusha is also related. I would say the same thing, go to cybercrime.gov.in where you can file a complaint online. You can also call 1930 to file a complaint. Additionally, all police stations have a desk for cybersecurity crimes. You can go there as well and file a complaint. Where I live, I have two police stations nearby where I live. I went to both, and funnily enough, they were only sitting from 10 to 7. So I had to go before work I was free before work or after work to go there, and they were not there. So, it was really frustrating to get hold of them as well. So I finally filed my complaint online. So that is actually much easier for all of us, I believe. So you can use that.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for addressing every question with such clarity and depth. Your vast experience in international investigations, technology regulation, and digital governance has truly enriched this session. Today's interaction has significantly deepened our understanding of cyber awareness, the psychological targets of cyber criminals, and the powerful role of law and human behavior in protecting society. Your guidance has been both inspiring and enlightening. So, with this enlightening Cyber Sunday session, we now come to the end of our program. We sincerely hope that today's discussion proved highly informative, enriching, and thought provoking for everyone present. On behalf of Naksh Foundation and Cyber Project Cyber Shield, we extend our deepest gratitude to Ms. Suhavi Arya ma'am for conducting such an insightful session on the human layer of cybersecurity, why people remain the biggest attack surface. Your profound experience, lucid guidance, and practical legal and policy perspectives have greatly enhanced our understanding of human vulnerabilities, evolving risks, and critical importance of timely awareness in safeguarding our digital ecosystems. And we kindly request all the participants to complete the post assessment form by scanning the QR code displayed on your screen. Please note that certificates will be issued only upon successful submission of the feedback form. With that, we conclude today's session. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and continue strengthening the shield against cyber threats. Thank you and goodbye. Feedback link is on the screen, so please scan it and fill up.